Hi everyone. This is my third little video for the day. I just wanted to share the Stampin' Positioner with you, so in a few different techniques. So this is the next card. So the first video I showed you how to create the background, this repeating background for this card, and I also showed you some little tricks to help line up the die cuts, especially the two-step die cuts. And then on the second video, I showed you how to use the Stampin' Positioner for using 12 by 12 sheets and how to get a little stamped corner in all four corners. And then I also showed you how to stamp the directly onto your scrapbooking layout. So you've got everything complete and you think, I want to just add a stamp to that, and I showed how you can do that. And even when you make a little error, you can get it back on track again, okay, by using the Stampin' Positioner. So then these are the two little cards that I've created with this little technique that I've learnt from, been inspired by Gina K Designs. Thank you, Roz, for pointing me in the direction for that little video. So thank you, Gina, for your inspiration. So I'm going to show you how I've created this little flower card. So that's from the Fragrant Layers, which I'm absolutely loving. So with this, what I found is that when you're stamping, I've just found you're using this corner piece up here. But I found that sometimes the card is moving a little bit. So even with the magnet. So what I wanted to do was to create an area where I knew it was definitely not going to move and that I could line it up easily. So what I've done, or what I was going to do, is just use some scraps and line it up, say on the 3 centimetre mark. So if I lay that there, so this is just a piece of scrap that I've got hanging around, and then we can butt it up against these little knobs here. Now then I should be able to then stamp on this piece, pop that piece there and have it exactly where it needs to be. I just found there was that little leeway with that. I wasn't getting that precise exact stamping when I wanted to stamp on two. It's fine if you're just wanting to stamp on one, but this, I wanted to line it up precisely. So I've just added this little piece here so I can butt it up against it. So I'm just going to start with that in that position, and I'm going to use the outline of the flower bunch for the Fragrant Gardens. So we're just going to stick it on probably like that. I think I'm happy with. Just make sure they're all lined up. I'm going to use my little magnets as well so it doesn't slip. Now sometimes the stamps will stick, and that's where I'm finding, no, that hasn't stuck, where I'm finding that the bone scorer is a great tool to use to help lever it off. The other thing that you can do is season your stamp on the inside of your wrist there, or on the back of your hand, to get that stickiness gone. Now again, I'm just going to make sure that's all okay. Pop it on the two little spikes, press down, and that's sticking a bit, so I can just pop my bone scorer in there and just lever it off. And that hasn't quite stamped down precisely. It's stamped, but not quite enough. I want this to be quite bold so that it really stands, the outline stands out. So I'm just going to ink that up again. Again, making sure it's in the right position. And then stamp down again. Pop the little bone scorer in. Just lever it off. And that's better. I'm happier with that. Okay, so then we take this piece off. We pop our second piece on. Again, making sure that's all butted up against the top and against the side. Ink our stamp up. Oops, upside down. There we go, plonk that on. Give it a press down. Just pop our bone scorer into, lever it off. And that's stamped really well, so that's good. So we can get rid of that now. And now we're going to line up. So just readjusting, just lining this up again, making sure that's positioned correctly. Then we're going to put on our solid stamp. So what I find with the solid stamps is pick a part where you know you're going to be able to line up easily. So there's the berries there. Now if we put it flat down, you can see we've got still a little bit of outline there and a bit of outline there. So if we just turn it a little bit, we can then, excuse the top of my head if you're seeing the top of my head, we can just line it up, and I'm pretty sure that's pretty good. Now this is a sort of stamp that if it doesn't line up exactly, then that doesn't really matter. But it's better if we can get it lined up exactly. So just press down, bone scorer in, lever it off. Again, just making sure that's all in properly. Then we're just going to ink up. Turn it over and press down. And that's lined up pretty well. Now, this stamp does have a distressed kind of look about it. That's fine. That's normal. But what we can do is just pop it down again. Yeah. So that's got a little bit more ink on there. So that's good. I'm happy with that. Take that one out. Plonk this one in. Ink that up again, pop our little magnets on, just make 100% sure that's butted up against there, turn it over and plonk it on down, press down, and do press down. There we go, and that's lined up. Now we're going to leave that on there. We'll get rid of that. Pop our little leaves on. Just wipe that off with our trusty chamois. Get all the blue off. Okay. Now we're going to pop our little leaves on. So that's that one there. So just lining them up as best as possible. Looks pretty good. Making sure that's still lined up. I'll just use the green apple. So I've used Misty Moonlight for the flowers, and then we're using green apple for the leaves. Okay, that's missing a little bit, but like I said, I don't really mind. I'll pop that in. Ink this up. Okay. Oh, and of course I put a green fingerprint there, haven't I? So we'll make this the background piece, and we'll make this the top piece. So this top piece is what I'm going to put the die on. So we'll just die cut this one. No, I'm going to die cut this one. So we just line our little die up. So this is from the it's called Forever Florals Dies set. So you can see that's this one here. But it's a great set because you get all these different dies. And that is coming. This is a sneaky peek for the online exclusives for March. And it was the card, the embossing folder that we got with the virtual card retreat. So it was a fantastic event. So if you're it's still available, so you can still buy the virtual card retreat and get your hands on these dies early if you want to. And the videos for all the cards, so it's 15 cards with lots of different techniques, that I'd not tried before. And you actually did some stitching with some of the baking twine, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, that was a lovely event. And to know that you're crafting along with, I think it was 5,000 other people. I'm not quite sure, but I think that was the numbers that they quoted. But yeah, lots of lovely cards. So you're just gonna just gently pry this off. There we go. So that we take that middle part out. So I might be able to use that on another card. And we'll just poke these little stubborn pieces out. With the trusty multi-tool. I love this tool. It's so versatile. I couldn't find my little brush because I've got there's a little brush part to it too, which you can roll over the die cuts to help them come out more quickly. But there's only a few more here, so that's okay. So just make sure that's all out. So now what we're going to do is we're building up the layers. So I've previously die cut these out. So they're going to go together. This is going to go on the top, and then that will go on the top of that, and that will all hopefully will all line up. So we just get our glue out, start with the top layer. And you don't need to, I found you don't need to put glue absolutely everywhere. I've put glue along the border here. So if you just run your glue around the edge. And then on some of the big leafy parts, I've just noticed there's a couple of little bits that still need poking out, but that's all right, we can poke them out later. Come here. And then we're just going to line this up. So that it's all lined up. It looks pretty good. And then we'll do the same thing again. Just traipse it around. Again, just layering it on top of this one. And it's good with the glue. You could use the adhesive paper, but this is good because you can you've got that little bit of play. You've got that leeway if things aren't lining up exactly. If we had have put the adhesive sheet on the back of this, then it's a little bit harder to line up because it's quite an intricate die cut. So then we're going to layer that on top of there, and you can see how it's all lining up beautifully. Okay. So I think that's quite cool. And then we'll stamp a sentiment in the middle. So, oh, that bit just didn't, just notice that little wayward flower there, but that's all right. I might just put a little dot of glue there. That little flower is just moving around in the breeze a little bit. So we just pop, I'm just going to pop glue around the edge here. I'm not going to even do the other bits because I don't mind a bit of dimension going on. So we'll just pop that down. Oh, just before we pop it down completely. There's a bit there that I need to get rid of. I think I've got rid of all the rest. Okay, so if we just lay it down. Again, just shifting it around until it all matches up. So that's our little card base. I'm pretty happy with that. So you can just, sorry, the camera keeps flicking. So you can see the dimension there. And then we'll put our sentiment in the middle. So I'm going to pick a sentiment from here. Simply the Best. What have I got here? Big hug. So we need quite a big sentiment in there. I'll put So Very Thankful. I think that will fit. So this is the Delicate Framing stamp set. So it's some quite cute. Oh, I like it. So I think I'll put that on there. So Happy for You. So rather than congratulations, so what we can do is now line this up again. And we're going to put the So Very Happy For You in the middle there. I think that looks nice. Take our little leaves off. Just plonk that there. Pick that up. Make sure it's lined up, just in case we need to ink up again. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So if you just leave it like that, it's clear of your card stock, and that way you can just make 100% sure that you're happy with it. And when you look at the grid, it all looks like it's lined up there nicely. So we just ink it up again, pop it on, press down, leave it off. Oh, look at that, not stamped up properly. So let's whack it again. Again, just make sure that's all correct. Plonking it on. Whoops. Oh, I didn't get it on the thing, did I? Lucky. Okay, press down. And that's better. So all done. And now I'll just put that onto a black base card, or maybe a dark blue. And that's my little card for you. So you can see how the precision press really helped to line that all up, like to be able to stamp two pieces with the stamp set in exactly the same place. So I hope you enjoyed that little video. Happy crafting. Please let me know if you'd like to become part of my team and get one of these Stampin' Positioners for free with your joining. Okay, happy crafting, and please contact me if I can help you, if I can be of service to you in any way. Okay, bye.